My guest is Terry Gannon. He's the versatile play-by-play voice for NBC Sports and Peacock. He's the play-by-play voice for Olympic sports, figure skating, and gymnastics. You can watch him on the NBA on NBC, also NBC Sports' golf coverage. You can follow him on Instagram at Terry Gannon83. Terry, welcome to Sports Business Radio. How are you?
Great to be here. I really appreciate you having me. We got a busy month coming up.
You have an epic month coming up, which I'm excited to talk about. But before we talk about that, I've got to go back to 1983. You win the NCAA men's basketball championship on that amazing North Carolina State Wolfpack team. Jim Valvano was your coach. How did that experience prepare you for what you're doing today?
I don't mind you bringing up 1983 at all. You can talk as much about that as you want. And I don't live in the past, but boy, was that important. First of all, Jimmy V was the greatest, other than my parents, my family, he was the greatest influence on me. He was the smartest, the funniest, the most energetic human being I've ever been around. And I've had the good fortune to meet some great people, impressive people in the years since, but nobody tops Jim Valvano. And, you know, that team pulled off so many upsets and buzzer beaters, and it wouldn't have happened without him because he was all about, why not? Somebody's got to do it. Why not us? Why not me? And he just instilled that. And he was also much more than just a basketball coach. He wanted his players to be world citizens, if you will, to be interested in the world. Don't just be 24/7 a basketball player. You know, I remember when I first got to NC State and I was this kid from the Midwest Chicago area who shot hoops 5, 6, 7 hours a day. And I went into his office and I said, Coach, I need a favor. I need a basketball. I need to be shooting. This was the summer. He's like, Terry, what's my name? Spalding? I don't have a basketball for you. Listen, October 15th, I own you. You're mine. Until then, go be a college student. Go out, go to parties, go on dates, go to movies. Experience being a college student. Don't be shooting in the backyard. And I went, wow, this is a different guy. This is a different coach. And along the way in my career, I've kind of said yes to every opportunity and been open to whatever came my way instead of mapping it out in concrete and saying, this is what I want to do. And it's in large part to Jim Valvano and how he was.
He seems like a Yoda to me. Someone who's wise and just knows a little bit about everything. And like you said, wasn't solely focused on basketball, was really focused on being a human being.
He was into so many different things, whether it be business. He had so many different businesses at the same time that he was a basketball coach. He went and hosted the CBS morning show on Mondays in New York and would fly back and be there in time for practice. He just was interested in the world and got every ounce out of every second that he was awake. And he was awake a lot because he only slept about 4 hours a night. And I don't advise that. I don't try to do that. But it really, and he also kind of helped, well, not kind of, he talked me into, I was going to be a basketball coach. My dad was a basketball coach. Same time I had an opportunity, didn't make the NBA, but an opportunity to go play in Europe. And I went in to talk to him, and he said, get on with your life. Who are you going to be? Walt Frazier? He said, well, go into TV. If you're no good or you don't like it, you come back, you got a job as a coach. And then he gave me opportunities on his coaching shows and his radio shows. And I was able to learn the business from a number of different angles, not just being a college basketball analyst, which is how I started, but I learned production and all different sides of the business in part because of him.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that. So you come from a basketball team. Now you're part of an even bigger team with NBC Sports and Peacock. How has learning teamwork as a student athlete helped you as a teammate with NBC Sports?
You know what? In those early years as broadcaster, it was the substitute for what I did all my life up until that point, be a part of a team.
Yeah.
Like I said, my dad was a high school basketball coach. He would have his players pick me up when I was a little kid, 5, 6 years old from school, take me right to practice. I'd put my jersey on and I had my own basketball on the side, and I was a part of his team. So before I was technically a part of a team, I was part of a team, and that's all I knew. And then, you know, that last college basketball game when you're in the tournament and you can't think about losing because you got to win. And then all of a sudden it comes to a sudden end and your whole life changes. You no longer are part of a team.
Yeah.
Broadcasting took over that role. And that's one of the things I enjoy the most about what I do is yes, we're in front of the camera, or our voice is what you hear, but there are so many people who have to do their jobs in the right instant, like a symphony, have to hit that note, whether it's graphics or camera operators or a director, a technical director. Everything behind the scenes that the fan doesn't see is coming together, and we're the last piece of it. And that for me is what I enjoy the most about what I do, that teamwork.
All right. NBC Sports has an epic February coming up. We've got
legendary
Winter Olympics,
February.
legendary.
Yes.
Winter Olympics, Super Bowl, NBA All-Star Game in Los Angeles at the Intuit Dome. Let's start with the Olympics. You're going to be handling opening ceremonies for the first time, in addition to calling figure skating. Let's start with opening ceremonies. Terry, whenever I watch, I swear it's the best history lesson, and I learn more about geography and facts and figures of the participating countries. I would imagine there's a lot of homework that goes into hosting opening ceremonies, which you'll do with Savannah Guthrie and Shaun White.
You're exactly right. And I got that call in the summer, and I've been doing homework since that day. And it's just intensified in the weeks leading up now. And I travel over to Milan. We got a few days to get ready, and they have rehearsals and everything else. But yeah, there's no question. It is what we do in terms of studying for teams every week and whatever game you do, but is that multiplied by, pick a number, because it is that. I was a history major.
Okay.
So I love that aspect. So it's not work for me in that sense. I love diving into the countries, the backgrounds, the bios, and what you're going to see. And how about the geography of Italy itself? Because it's the most spread out Winter Olympics ever. You've got two official host cities in Milan and Cortina. You've got the city, the chic aspect of Milan, fashion capital and everything else. And then the mountains, the ultimate European ski village in Cortina, which has hosted the Olympics before back in 1956. But then throughout the Dolomites and the Alps, you've got other sites spread out all over northern Italy. So obviously we're going to bring that to the viewers, and we'll be all over that. We'll have correspondents and reporters in all the different sites with athletes in those sites. So it's a challenge for the people handling the opening ceremony itself, because it's not just in one place. You'll have athletes walking in, the parade of athletes in different places and jumping back and forth between all of that. But yeah, it was work that started in the summer for me.
Give us an idea of how many people are involved with the NBC production of the Olympics, both in Italy, and then also I would imagine there's still people in the United States that are operating remotely.
I know there are over 1,000 in each, Wow. Yeah, exactly. Because we've got production obviously over there on site, and then we have it back in Stamford where NBC is based. And so you've got programming through Stamford and announcers, some of them there, and all the people involved. And then you've got people in every one of the sites in Italy as well.
You've been doing the Olympics for a while now. Is there, what are the innovations and technologies that have changed in the business where you go, wow, I can't believe we're doing this now in 2026?
First of all, drones,
I bet.
Sports overall, that it has changed. The images that you get are just so much more effective and beautiful. Mm-hmm. I mean, for an opening ceremony, for example, it's not the action of a sport that you're covering, but it's the pageantry, if you will, the scenery, the setting, the nature up in the mountains that way. But also the technology has just gotten so much better and keeps getting better, whether it be the telestrator and being able to not only draw on a screen and show where this play went to the right and then cut back to the left, but different technical aspects of that telestrator where you're able to superimpose things or highlight someone and follow them. So, where it's going with AI, I mean, your guess is as good as mine, but it's exciting to watch it.
All right, figure skating. I absolutely love your chemistry with Tara Lipinski and Johnny Weir. Those
So
two
do
are
I. So
kicking
I'm
the
glad you
pants.
do. I do too.
Yeah, they are kicking the pants. I've listened to their podcast that just the two of them do together. But this is a really marquee sport for Winter Olympics every time we have Winter Olympics. And as I understand it, U.S. might do really well in figure skating in these Olympics. Can you tell us what we should be watching? And then I want to talk a little bit about how you've built that amazing chemistry with Tara and Johnny.
Sure. Yeah. The U.S. has a chance, a realistic chance to win gold medals in 4 of the 5 events. They've got men, women's, pairs, ice dance, but now you have the team event, which kicks it all off. So the U.S. is at least a co-favorite with Japan for the team event. And then in 3 of the 4 disciplines, you've got gold medal contenders, if not favorites, led by Ilya Malinin, who is really across all sports going into Milano Cortina as overwhelming a favorite for the gold medal as anyone. I can't think of anybody else who's a more overwhelming favorite for gold. And he's doing things that no skater's ever done. He does a quad axel, which is 4.5 revolutions because you take off going forward on an axle, and lands, and no one's ever done that jump. Some of the greats have tried it and not been able to do it. He does it routinely now. Wow. He did, and it's a jump that most figure skating experts, and I've been involved in figure skating since the mid-90s now, thought, nah, nobody will ever do that. That's impossible. He did 7 quads in a recent competition at the Grand Prix final, which nobody's ever done. He's amazing. Wow. You got to watch just to see his athleticism and everything else. But then
he's a quad god, right?
Quad god.
They call him quad god.
He calls himself that. So that's some confidence, right?
Yeah.
Instagram handle and gaming handle, and yeah, the quad god. He wears t-shirts with quad god, but he's endearing. He's an average college kid when you just spend time with him away from the actual ice. And then you've got the big 3 for the women. You've got Amber Glenn, Alyssa Liu, and Isabeau Levito. All 3 have a chance to make it to the podium and maybe win a gold medal. Amber Glenn, perseverance throughout her career, nearly gave up at one point, found a triple axel. She was able to bring that to competition, and now that carries her through. And if she can do that jump, she's got a real shot at the gold medal. 3-time, last 3 national championships. And then Alyssa Liu, who won 2 national championships when she was 13 and 14, youngest ever, went to the Olympics, podium at the World Championships, and said, you know what? I've had it. I'm done. I'm stepping away. I'm retiring. She was away from competition for about 2.5 years, comes back, and she wins a World Championship last year.
Wow.
And just is as carefree as any athlete I've ever been around. And it's authentic. You know, you've been around athletes when they say, well, I just want to go out there and have fun and this thing. You go, yeah, okay, right. With her, it's real. She is. She's just out there. She sometimes does a cartwheel when they call her name and she enters the ice, you know it. And she's so much fun to watch. And then Chalk and Bates in ice dance, who were part of a team gold medal last time around, but they're looking for that individual gold, and they're at least co-favorites for the gold medal in ice dance too. So it'll be great.
One of the things NBC Sports does so well is the vignettes, the stories like you just told of the athletes. I feel like by the time they, start their competition, I've been given a little bit of background about who they are as a human, what their path is to today. And I think you guys do that brilliantly.
Thank you. That's a big part of what we try to do, at least. And I mean, it does come down to getting you to care. I try to give you, in figure skating, it's broken down into intro into that's my job to intro them. Now we've set them up with those vignettes. We've set them up in the warm-ups, but then you get them on the ice. I'm just trying to give you a reason to care about this person on the ice. Why should you pay attention to this person who's on the ice now? What's compelling about this person, whether it be competitive-wise, competition-wise, or personally, or whatever aspect that is? There's a really emotional, moving story in one of the American men's skaters, Maxime Naumov, who has commentators we've watched grow up because his parents were world champions. Shishkova and Naumov, and they were tragically they were on that plane, that crash, Washington
in DC. Yeah.
So he lost his parents suddenly. They ran a figure skating school and helped young kids. He has taken over as director of that to further their legacy. He thinks that's really important. At the same time, trying to make the Olympic team. The last conversation he had with his parents, and it was at the national championships in Wichita, was about what it would take for him to make the Olympic team. And he was able to do that at the national championships. And in the kiss and cry, he had pictures of his parents that he was not really showing off or home, but just really cradling and embracing. You know, was authentic, obviously, and emotional. And he's now at the Olympics for the first time. And it's if you can't latch onto that and care about that guy when you watch him, then I don't know what to say. But that's just an example. Of personal stories that we try to tell. Yeah, that's one of the things whenever I watch the Olympics, especially figure skating, I feel like for whatever reason, it's more dramatic than the other sports, even in Summer Olympics. When they take the ice, there's so much at stake. They've trained their whole life for this moment. And, you know, any tiny mistake is going to impact the score that they have from the judges. So, you know, much like when I just watched Alex Honnold scale the building in Taipei, you're sitting there on the edge of your seat just going, oh, please do well. Don't make any mistakes. You're really pulling for these figure skaters. And the other aspect to that, and this is what struck me when I first started calling figure skating way back when, is that, you know, they're young athletes. I mean, most of them, they're all young, but I mean, many of them teenagers. And they are out there on the biggest stage in front of 15, 16,000 people in the house, but then millions, more than millions in the Olympics across the globe. And the music starts, and there is in basketball, I had a teammate. I had Sidney Lowe or Derek Wittenberg. If I got trapped in the corner, I look for Sidney Lowe. There's help. I find him. They have no help. Yeah. There is no one to go to. Their coach can't help them once they're out there. It is all about them. And for an athlete that young to take that, like a Tara Lipinski, 15 years old, wins the Olympic gold medal. It blew me away when I first started calling it figure skating. And it still is something I shake my head at. Yeah, I've had Gracie Gold on this show, and we've talked a lot about the mental health impact of being an elite Olympian and the pressure that comes with it. And wow, it's really something. And Amber Glenn has really been upfront talking about that in her figure skating career and what she's dealt with and not trying to help others. And the more, you at least talk about it, the more I think it does help others, help other athletes and people beyond sports as well. But yeah, that is at least as much percentage-wise of what goes into making a gold medal skater at the Olympics as the physical aspect of your training. All right. When you're in Italy and you're not on the broadcast, I'm picturing you with Tara and Johnny, and you guys are drinking the best coffee. You're eating the best food. Like, what are you guys doing to prepare to build that chemistry? You know what? It is a team that is as much, we are the same on the air as we are off the air. That's awesome. I promise you. So whether it's back in the green room or whatever locker room, before the show, it is the same banter, the same discussions at dinner the night before, for a drink after the competition, as on the air. In fact, there's at least once a night where Tara will go, "Hey, wait, was that on the air? Or were we in commercial?" Like, no, don't worry, we're in commercial, because it's the lines are blurred because it is. So I think it is because of that, and we are really good friends, the three of us. And I love the personalities. I love their work ethic. I love their knowledge of skating. I think if you just listen to what they say, I've been doing this 30 years, figure skating, and I learn something every night when I sit next to them, in a comment they make, about a move or a skater or scores or the judges or whatever it is. But That first Olympics that we worked together, it was Sochi. And it was the first time that NBC was doing just live coverage during the day. And that was us. We weren't the primetime crew. And I remember going to dinner the night before, having dinner with them. And you know, we had worked together before and we were friends. I had covered their skating. I called their skating. But we kind of just said, you know what? Let's do the work, the homework. But then once we're on the air, let's just let it go. No formula.
Yeah.
No, you talk here, I'll talk here, whatever. Let's just be ourselves and let it go. And thankfully, people liked it. And we've been together ever since at the Olympics.
Yeah, it's very organic. And you feel like you're eavesdropping on a really intelligent conversation.
I agree with you when I step back and I watch, go back and watch, or even in the moment, feel it. I don't feel like I'm an announcer, like quote unquote, announcing an event. I'm on the couch with those two watching this, and the fans are with us. We're having a conversation about what we're seeing. And because they have the knowledge and the experience and they've been there, they're able to have insight that takes it a step above, me sitting with my buddy on the couch. But it is that same atmosphere that is created. Not even created. It just happens. It's us.
Terry, one of the things that's so impressive about you is you can call figure skating, you can call gymnastics, you can call the NBA, you can call golf. How did you build up the skills of being able to be so versatile? Because usually someone can maybe call one or two things. You're calling many more than that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. First of all, again, it's the teamwork and then the different sports. I love the fact that on Saturday and Sunday, I'm sitting next to Johnny and Tara calling a figure skating event. I get on a plane and I fly to Valero, Texas Open. I'm sitting next to Brad Faxon then on Thursday calling golf, and then through the weekend, or Kevin Kisner or whomever. Believe me, it keeps life fresh and interesting. I don't really have an answer to your question to say how I've been able to do it, but I do know that Jimmy V aspect of being interested in the world and everything comes into play. And also, I do think having played on a Monday night in front of 40, 50 million people for a national championship and that experience, I think transcends whatever sport you're calling. Crunch time, game on the line. You got to come through as an athlete. And so at least I have some understanding, excuse me, of what the athletes that I'm watching are going through in those moments. And it at the very least, it gives me confidence to have that understanding, whether it be golf, whether it be figure skating, gymnastics, the NBA, whatever, with a game on the line.
I'm interested in people's process and prep. How much are you waking up every day, doing your own prep, looking on the internet and finding facts and figures versus your people at NBC are feeding you information?
It's both. Like I spent before this talking to you, I've spent the last hour and a half reading NBA stuff, reading figure skating stuff, Milan as well. And we have great people at NBC in the research department and at Golf Channel, who will send out on a daily basis a roundup of stories that they think are important. Say about the NBA, you've got NBA research people,
right?
So that kind of starts your day, right? You start with that, and you read those articles, and golf as well. And I just, I spent 20 minutes reading about, even though I watched some yesterday, Scotty Scheffler, what he was able to do yesterday, first event of the year, and so that you're always staying up to date with it. I can't imagine just focusing on one thing and then having to cram for a test next week when it's a different sport. I think that scramble would be playing catch up all the time. So you're exactly right. It's from our research departments in each sport. And then it's also just online, the things that you get daily in newspapers that you read and sites and whatever, and you're taking that all in. And then what I do and everybody, I know Mike Tirico does this as well, but we all do it a little differently, is then have a sheet that I create, just an Excel that I've had for years and years on each sport. And then I'll take things from everywhere that I think are important. I'll bring it onto that sheet. During a sporting event, you don't have time to be looking down at that sheet, except in commercial break, whatever. But the act of actually inputting it into there through my brain and then the computer hopefully puts it up here. And
Osmosis.
Yeah, exactly. And so as opposed to just reading something and trying to remember it, I'll bring it here and get it into that sheet, and hopefully it sticks.
We've got just a few minutes left before I know I need to let you go. Obviously, as we discussed, you played in one of the most memorable events. I mean, I remember exactly where I was when I watched your game in 1983 and North Carolina State won the NCAA championship. Is there an event that you have called that stands out to you that you say, I'll never forget that?
You know, there are many, but for different reasons. So there's not one answer to that. But the first time I covered the Tour de France, I went, oh my gosh, I've never been around an event like this. It's like a Super Bowl that moves every day for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
The Village Départ, which is a huge, where the stage starts that day, buildup of TV trucks and volunteers, and an area where the athletes actually come in on their bikes and have a croissant and a coffee with you, an espresso with you, and you talk to them before, and then you get in your car and you drive the route, and it takes you 2.5 hours, whatever it is and then you get to the finish line, and it's just as big. Yeah. And then you do your show, and then you get in the car and go to the hotel near the start line for the next day, and they do it again for 21, 22 days, and it just blew me away. On the flip side, like a Simone Biles, when she did the vault to open up at the Twisties, and then that moment is in the moment, not a positive, but you're dealing with that as a broadcaster and calling it, and you're just reporting what you see because you don't know. You're trying to call down to her coaches or get words somehow and figure it out. But then to have her come back after that.
Right.
And not only at that Olympics, but another one in Paris and do what she did. Certainly stands out. But you know, it's as much as the moments you remember and the games, it might sound trite, but it's the people. It's the people you worked with that you have the greatest memories of through the year. Yeah.
Last question. We have a lot of up-and-coming journalists who listen to this show. They're trying to find their place in this space now. And I'm just interested in your opinion from someone who's been in this industry for a long time. If you were talking to a young journalist today, what are the skills they need in their tool belt? Obviously, like we said, versatility has been a big asset for you. Preparation has been a big asset for you. But what advice would you give the up-and-coming journalists?
First of all, learn how to write. I think that set you apart. Yeah. Great on the written word and how to write. I think that's a skill that it's not lost, but it's I think it's more important all the time and would set you apart if you became people who are good writers, certainly in my business, stand out and have a long career. And then tell the story. You know, I always go back to when you start a broadcast, what is the overall story I'm trying to tell? And staying true to that. And then what are the individual stories I'm trying to tell? It does come down to storytelling. Yeah. And if you keep that in mind, I think for us, I cover sports. Yes, it's the human side of it, and it's very important what's happening, but ultimately it's entertainment. Sports, you know, it's not life and death. Might seem like it. I'm a Bears fan. It seemed like life and death, you know, and at overtime last week when they eliminated, but it's not. And life goes on. And so also kind of keeping that in mind, that this is what we're doing. We're here to provide something that falls into the realm of entertainment. It's sports.
Terry Gannon, the amazing play-by-play voice for NBC Sports and Peacock. You can see him all over the upcoming Winter Olympics. You can see him on the NBA on NBC. You can see him on NBC Sports' golf coverage. You can follow him on Instagram at Terry Gannon83. Terry, it's been a pleasure having you on Sports Business Radio. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you for having me. I'm getting my sleep this week, and then I'm ready to go for February.
Awesome. Well, good luck with everything.
Thanks. Appreciate it very much.